Hey, Glitterheads. To begin today, I wanted to start with something from my gratitude journal. On Sunday 6, I wrote, I am grateful I am learning how to just exist and do my own thing. I am becoming less concerned about being perceived by others. It helps me not have as much anxiety and to mask less. Practice, do not stop being myself. And I wrote that just because I've noticed that I am masking a lot less than I used to, which is great. I randomly will notice certain things that used to trigger me to mask heavily. And now I can feel my body reacting almost immediately. And I'm able to like slow down and just ask myself internally, like, what am I feeling? And usually I'll be able to gauge whatever the emotion is. For example, like I'm being perceived and um and I'm able to like just rationalize with myself quickly, with the part that doesn't want to be seen, the part that wants to mask. And so I'll just quickly like have like a little affirmation talk essentially with myself and say something like along the lines of, nothing with how I am existing is a problem. I am not harming myself, nor am I harming others. My job is to take care of myself and to do the best I can within my own limits. I am participating member of this team in regards to like relationships and social situations and work. I am open to receive any advice, corrections, or redirection within reason. I am not responsible for others' emotions that are not connected to me or communicated to me about me. I am okay. I am safe. I am open to learning. I am doing my best. So, yeah, it's just cool. Like when I notice stuff like that, like just in general. Yeah, like just, yeah, personal growth. When you notice personal growth, it's just cool. And I'm really proud of myself for deciding to work on myself. Um, like when we moved out here in 2021. I'm glad I had the chance to. Um, and yeah, I'm really proud of myself. And even though it's really exhausting work sometimes, like I'm sticking to it because I know, I can tell, I feel it every day that it's literally so worth it to like try to take care of yourself because, yeah, it's important. All right. So before we move on to the next part, because yeah, it's not as fun as always, whatever. Let's go ahead and take a puff if you'd like to join. Deep breath. All right, so now on to what I am going to talk about today. This involves myself, my mother, and brother B. I was a teenager around the time, I think maybe around 14, um, which would make my mother around the age of 41 and brother B around the age of 20 at the time. I had come home from being out, because yeah, I was gone. As I think I've mentioned before, I was not home as much as possible most of the time. Um, yeah, if I could avoid it, I usually would. And um, yeah, so I've been out all day and I come home and I'm pretty sure it was like getting dark. And I'm walking back towards my bedroom and notice that my mother and brother B are having a pretty intense discussion in my parents' room. So I took a detour and I popped my head in to ask if everything was okay. They tell me to sit down, so I'm like, oh, like I'm like I'm in trouble. And but I do as I'm told and I take a seat. And so they Going to tell me that apparently Brother B had a close friend who was going to jail. Um, it was all a misunderstanding, though. This friend was going away for the charge of sexual assault against a child. Um, a 16-year-old girl, I believe, was her actual age. And supposedly, she told him that she was 18. Eventually, they stopped seeing each other, and the girl was upset and told her father that he forced himself on her. And so the father pressed charges, and my brother's friend was convicted. That's what they told me. And I'm just like, that sucks. Like, that's not a good situation. I also didn't quite understand exactly. I mean, 14, like, I didn't actually, I wasn't educated on that kind of thing really, even though like my mom watched Law and Order all the time. Like, I wasn't into true crime really, like in that way at the time. So yeah, I didn't understand fully like what exactly. I'm just kind of like, wow, that's intense and like that sucks. Excuse me. Get a drink real fast. um yeah, then these two begin to just force their opinions on me of how unfair it all is because she told him that she was 18 and that it shouldn't matter that she was actually underage. And now, because of her selfishness, her selfish behavior of being angry at Brother B's friend and wanting revenge, he now is going to have to suffer in jail and most likely be hurt because he's going to have the title of a child predator, all because of her. It was all her fault. Like, that's her. They were very like, it is her fault. This is her. He did nothing wrong. Second. If you want to partake, if join. Okay. All right. So yeah, everything was the underage girl's fault. And now this poor friend of my brother's is going to suffer in jail because he's going to have a bad title. So nothing about the fact that for some reason he's in an environment where underage girls are and where this type of thing could happen. Not the fact that no matter what, it doesn't matter if she said she was 18, it is your responsibility to make sure that the person you're wanting to be intimate with is not a minor, that you do your due diligence to make sure for a fact that person is of appropriate age for you. It doesn't matter that it's only a 4-year gap, that other person is still 16 and you're an adult at 20. Like, my mother and my brother did nothing but victim blame a 16-year-old girl, a child. And at the time, I agreed with them because I didn't know any better. I was doing what I was trained to do, which was to agree with my abusers, pet their fragile narcissistic egos, and to keep my mouth shut and not mention it again. Now, now I understand that they were threatening me to keep my mouth shut about Brother B. That if I were to have said anything, no one would believe me because they'd just tell everyone that I wanted it. That it doesn't matter that the other party is older and should have known better. That it was also my decision to be a part of the abuse, hence my fault it even happened. They were telling me that I was not to get any ideas from finding out about this friend's situation. I was not to cause the family public shame by putting Brother B through this type of humiliation his poor dear friend has had to endure because it all wouldn't be fair to Brother B and the family. I was to be a good girl and I was to keep my mouth shut and protect them. That is what they were telling me in that moment, I believe. The fact that they even decided it was appropriate to talk to me about Brother B's friend's situation is ridiculous. It didn't actually concern me. It wasn't going to actually affect my life in any way, shape, or form. So why tell me, a child at the time? I barely even understood what sex was. I didn't even remember the abuse I was receiving at the time because I was in such a dissociative state. I do remember feeling confused as to why they even told me this, since my life and Brother B's life were so separate at that point. He was an adult and I was still a child. I had to obey my mother's rules and he got to do whatever he wanted at that point. Yeah, just in general, he always got whatever he wanted. Like, he always just got everything he ever wanted. Even when he messed up, like, nothing ever actually happened from it besides a threat from our mother, besides a threat to his life from our mother. Um, anyways, the whole situation, excuse me. Anyways, the whole entire conversation shouldn't have happened. It is frustrating to think a woman who is 10 years older than the age that I currently am would think this is an appropriate conversation to have with her child when it literally has nothing to do with her, to do with me at the time. If she was concerned that I potentially had been harmed by this friend, that was not the way it was being brought up. No matter how you look at it, it is not okay. Like, the circumstances around the conversation that happened for me, it was not appropriate. My mother cared and still cares more about protecting herself and her predator son than her disabled daughter. This type of behavior is why I am still so concerned that this woman, my mother, works around children. Yet there is nothing I can do about it except tell my story because there's no proof. My life, my experiences are all they said versus they said, just like everybody else's is. That is why I'm here to share my experiences. That this way, whoever listens will potentially be able to see warning signs in others around them quicker than I did and not turn a blind eye to it. To call it out and question behaviors that are questionable, especially if it involves children or anyone who is vulnerable in any capacity. Alrighty. Well, lastly, today I thought it would be fun to do something on the spiritual side of things. So if you're deciding to head out now, because this isn't everyone's cup of tea, thank you for being here and holding space for me to share about my experiences. I hope you come back to hang out next time. Take care and be safe out there. And yeah, so now we're going to pull a rune from my set that I have here in this bowl. And I like to do a smoke cleanse. And if I have flour, I will smoke cleanse with that. So, second here, I'm going to set it down. Hopefully, you can hear me okay. Oops. All right. So if you know anything about spirituality, that ding that just occurred is source saying like we're here. All right. I'm just drawing one, but I've got two here. Ooh, this is good, guys. Let me, I guess I should show you first. Well, I don't know the names of them off the top of my head though, so I want to. I'm not that familiar, still learning. Okay. All right, so these are both going to be from, and my pronunciation might not be perfect, but these are both going to be from Terres et set, if that makes sense. If you know anything about runes. Um, the first one we have here is Ingwaz. Oh, show. Sorry, this is not comfy. I'm not like familiar with doing this, so thank you for your patience. Okay, so Ingwaz, and then the next one is Dagas. All right, let me look them up. All right, I'll tell you about the runes of Tyrats speak. Sorry, I don't know if I'm doing that right, but we're trying. um, so the runes of Tyres Ayat speak to aspects of the dance between the visible and invisible realms, with runes directly connected to ancient deities, natural forces, and humanity itself. Um, and I just think that's funny because we're doing this, and it is like the first time on here that I have shared my connection to the other side. So yeah, all right, all right. So it is Inguas, and the key words here, and I knew this. I just wanted to confirm, are protective forces, channeling energy, completion and safety, and fertility, if that applies as well to anybody. Um, so the biggest thing is knowing that you are protected, that we are protected in sharing this, and that I am safe, and that we are safe. We can create safety for ourselves. It's very possible, and I've I've done it. You know, it's pretty cool. I want other people to like experience it because it's great. um, and then Dagas. The keywords here are going to be hope, breakthrough, transformation, balance, success, and daylight. And yeah, like that resonates for me in the sense that this YouTube channel, this podcast, my purpose of it is to put this stuff here, to have a place for it here in a place where it may help other people, but not have it completely rule my entire existence. Like it this is the designated area for sharing about my life in this way so that yeah, it doesn't consume me through just my every day-to-day goings on. um I just read the word uncomfortable and I was starting to feel uncomfortable. Yeah. Yeah. So I'd say like right now is also like I would say that fertility and this transformation, I would say those kind of go together because it is springtime as well. As I'm thinking about it, and this is a transformative time for the universe, and just whatever's coming next is, I think, gonna be pretty good. um, yeah, I'm gonna stop there. Yeah, again, I just wanted to thank y'all for being here, for holding space for me to share my experiences. I hope you all come to hang out next time and take care. Be safe out there. And yeah, hope to see you next time, Glitterheads. Okay, guys, I am sitting here getting ready to edit. Source is crazy, and I love it. Um, so I like opened YouTube and I was gonna do stuff on there, and then the first video that I saw was Try Guys and how um, Zach is going to be a daddy, and I'm like, oh, fertility. um, and then as I'm downloading, files and doing shit, I like was looking at some or just looked out like one specific old video, and I was like, oh, I wonder what this is, and I pulled it up. Keyword breakthrough. So just got done with therapy and I felt something interesting happened. My therapist was asking me if I hold any resentment or negative feelings towards specific family members. And I admitted, which I've known for a while, but I admitted it out loud to her, to my therapist, to them. But I admitted to her that I hate my mother and my brother, my second oldest brother. Like, I told her, I said, I hate them. And she was just like, makes sense. And she asked me about my dad and my oldest brother. And I said, I don't hate them, but I don't like them because they were part of it and they still refuse to acknowledge the part they played. But I also feel bad for them because they were also victims. And yeah. Anyways, sorry. But yeah, and she was just like, it's true that they are also victims, but they also will always be part of it. They will always be complicit. And I was just, it's like, yeah. Yeah. So that was fun.
is hard.
I'm telling you, everywhere. It's sources everywhere.